On square 22, Lunar, option 1, you are knitting an intarsia cable. In this demonstration, I've already cast on and worked a few rows, and I'm going to show you how to cross the yarns over on a right side and a wrong side row. So beginning with purl 2 using field yarn, knit 8, okay, purl 2 field, and then I'm ready to change colour. So keeping the field yarn held at the front of the work, I'm going to put my needle into the next stitch ready to purl and cross my field yarn with my baby blue yarn like so, so that as I pick up the baby blue yarn, it just crosses over with field. Then I continue to work the next 12 stitches in baby blue as instructed in the pattern. And then I'm ready to change to the next bobbin of field. So it's the same thing. I cross my baby blue bobbin with my next field bobbin by passing my bobbin I don't want anymore, this one, over to the left, picking up the next bobbin from underneath so that they cross each other. Then it's working the next 12 stitches using field yarn. Okay, then I'm coming up to my next crossing over of yarns. Okay, so here we go. Old colour over to the left, pick up the new colour so it comes up from underneath, crosses over with field. I always give a little pull there, can you see that? Just to make sure that crossover is as neat as possible before continuing across the stitches until on this row the final colour change. What we're starting to see here is this kind of dotted line where the yarns have been crossed over each other, sort of interlinking with each other, stopping any gaps from between those colour changes. Okay, I'm going to turn the work around. Notice well how I'm keeping my bobbins, if you are using bobbins for this, which is very advisable considering the amount of yarns you've got in such a small amount of stitches. I keep them quite short, and that way I can manage them a lot better. Okay, so starting off now on our wrong side row, so it's knit 2, purl 8, and then knit 2, and then we have our first colour change, changing over to baby blue. Okay, so this is how we do a colour change with wrong side facing. So I'm going to put my needle into the next stitch ready to knit. Then keeping the yarn at the back away from me, in other words on the right side of the work, which is towards the back now because I'm on a wrong side row. Cross over your field with your baby blue. Knit 1 stitch, give a little pull, gentle but firm on those yarns to make sure that crossover is neat before continuing to work across those next set of stitches in baby blue. Okay, we're nearly across to the next field bobbin. Okay, so again, leaving the yarn where it is, hanging on the front side of the work, needle in, cross the yarns over, give a little pull on both, just to make sure that crossover is as neat as you can possibly get it, and continue across the remaining stitches in that section of field. Okay, final colour change. So, old colour over to the left. Pick up, whoops, just make sure my bobbins aren't crossing over incorrectly there. Make sure you're only crossing those 2 bobbins over and that nothing else is getting caught up in that colour change, which can sometimes happen. Almost there. Okay, if we turn that around, we have a look at what we've achieved there. You can see that the bobbins are still fairly organised because I've kept them short, but you've got this little pattern emerging here where you've crossed the yarns over. If I flick these the other way, be able to see the pattern a bit easier, I think. Let's just do that. It's always a bit tricky near the cast on. Once you move away and you work more rows, it will become easier to knit this square. But you can see how that's starting to shape up now after a few rows.